I'll put it.
Yeah, it's on. I see it now.
Hey everybody. I'm trying to get my computer so you can
Hi, Nia. How are you?
Hi, Miss Jones. I'm good. I can't see you though. Or are you just? This is so cool.
Can you see me now?
Which screen are you on? Are you on admin? Oh yeah,
No, I'm on Brian right
okay.
now.
I see it.
Okay.
Hi.
How have you been?
I'm good. I'm working hard and.
Is mine muted?
Okay, I'm having some technical issues on my screen. That's why I grabbed Brian's really quickly just so we can get started.
Okay.
All of my students are logged in and they can hear and see you. So you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
Okay, so hi everybody. How many people are here? Like 20, 25 kids?
It's about 6 of them.
Okay.
And their mics are on mute. So whenever you are going to ask them a question, just kind of say maybe you're going to ask a question so they can take it off.
Okay, perfect. So I will tell you guys a little bit about myself. I want to just make sure I can always see myself so I can make sure you see me. So my name is Nia Jackson, and I am formally trained as an attorney, and I have an MBA in international business management. And I was born in Houston, so I'm a fellow Texan. But I grew up in New Orleans, which is how I know Ms. Jones. And so I spent the first part of high school, college, and everything thinking I was going to be a lawyer and I was going to save the world and I was going to do all kinds of like international stuff. And I learned Spanish in high school, and my like second major in college was Spanish, and I traveled to Chile, Argentina, like Dominican Republic, like all kinds of places or whatever, doing stuff with Spanish and just exploring the world to see what I wanted to do. Because I just said to myself, you know what, Texas is great, but I know that there's more out there. And my mom, by the grace of God, she was the only person in our family who had like literally left the state of Texas before they were like 25 years old. So I was like, well, I'm going to be like her and I'm going to try and leave Texas before I'm 18. And so that's kind of how I had the opportunity to move with family and go to Louisiana. So that was really good for me because the family that I lived with there, they encouraged me to do whatever I wanted. They said, if you want to learn about this, go learn about that. Don't worry about how society says you're supposed to figure things out. Yes, you have to go to school. Yes, you have to get good grades, but you can learn whatever you want to learn. And at that time, if I wanted to learn something, I don't want to date myself, but if I wanted to learn something, my first stop was Encyclopedia Britannica on the bookshelves. And then after I got a little bit of information, I had to wait for AOL dial-up and then, do some research that way. But y'all have Google right at your fingertips, at your phones and all of that kind of stuff. So it's probably a whole lot easier for you guys to learn about stuff and figure out what you want to do and what's out there. So I really just spent all my time just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to have this big job and fancy job in the city. And I went to college, moved away from home. And after being a lawyer for about 4 years, I said, I wanted something more. I wanted more control over my life. I learned that when you have a job and you work a job, you are pretty much required to do what someone says you have to do all day, every day. And I was 12, 13, 14 at one point. So I know that it's annoying to do what somebody else tells you to do all day, every day. You know, you grow up and you're like, okay, well, right now I got to listen to my teachers. I have to listen to my, you know, my parents. But when I grow up, I'm going to do what I want to do. And then you go to work. And then you have to do what your boss tells you to do. And that is okay if you enjoy the work that you do. But if you're annoyed that somebody's telling you what to do and you don't love the work that you're doing, it really sucks to have to listen to somebody else all day, every day. So I said, well, I'm smart. I have these degrees. I got this education. Like, there has to be something else that I can do. And so I started researching, you know, entrepreneurship. The family members that I went to live with when I was younger, they had created their own businesses where they were just helping other people get their businesses off the ground, and they were essentially consultants. So I said, okay, I know the information that I got from school, and a lot of people don't have those same degrees. So let me help these other people create the companies that they want to create, or the products, or, you know, whatever kind of businesses they want to start. And so I left my job as a lawyer, and I started my own company before I left my job. And I started working with other people who wanted to create small businesses, whether one of my friends, she has an online radio station. Another friend runs international trips from New York to Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Venezuela, like all kinds of places in Latin America and around the world. And so I help them create the structure behind their businesses so they can run really smoothly. And these people, they're just like me. They work from home. This is one of the places that I work. It's not, you know, I work from home. I work with other friends, other small business owners, and I work wherever I need to be. And I do it on the time that I dictate. And it ends up being the same 9 to 5 hours. It really ends up being like 9 to 9 because I work all day. But I'm in control of the work that I do. I'm in control of who I work with, what kind of projects I work on. And then I also still get to use my background as a lawyer, because not everybody knows how to read contracts. Not everybody knows what's legal and what's not. Not everybody knows a lot of things that go into, you know, having a business on the legal side. And I'm able to help them with that also. And then I also do some of the stuff that I was formerly trained to do, which is I worked as an attorney for nonprofits. And so anytime somebody comes in, you know, into my space or whatever, that I know that I find out wants to have a private foundation or a public charity, then I work with them to help them create that also. So I'm really able to use the information that I gained in education to do what I want to do, because what I realized after I got all my education, which was a lot of education and it took forever, but it was still worth it, because I realized that there are two worlds in this world. There's the world of being an employee, which, excuse me, my allergies are acting up, but there's a world of being an employee and there's a world of being an entrepreneur. School guarantees, if you do well in school, then you will be a good employee. Like, you'll have all the credentials, you'll have all the criteria, and if you have good grades and you get your degree, then okay, fine, you'll find a job. But if you want to have control over your time, if you want to have control over how much money you make, because when you have a job, you have to ask somebody else for a raise. When you have a job, you have to ask somebody else to give you that job. When you want a promotion, you have to ask somebody else for that promotion. But when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have to ask anyone else for anything. All you need to do is make a relationship to build your clients. So I realized that part of this world is employees and the other part of this world is entrepreneurs. And the education that you're getting, it's wonderful. You need the education. You need to be able to read and write. You need to be able to analyze. You need to be able to think critically. But that is not giving you any skills to necessarily be an entrepreneur. So at the level that you guys are at right now, it's really important for you to decide where you want to go. Do you want to be a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, a dentist, a veterinarian, where you're reporting to someone all the time, which is great. Those are fabulous careers. And if you are passionate about them, then you're going to love the job that you're doing. But if you're not passionate about them and you're just doing it because someone else told you to, it's not going to be as fulfilling because of whatever reason. So if you want to spend time helping people and creating something from scratch and building your own business and doing something you've never seen before, then you're more of an entrepreneur. And the key thing is that you have to know as an entrepreneur is that you have to get a lot of experience. You have to get out there and actually use your brain and use the skills that you learned in school. So I just want to make sure I'm being clear. School will definitely prepare you for a good job, but it will not give you the actual skills that you need to be an entrepreneur. It only gives you the foundational intellect. It only gives you the foundational education, because you can't be an entrepreneur if you can't do math. You can't be an entrepreneur if you can't read well. You can't be an entrepreneur if you can't follow directions. So you still need everything that you have gotten in school, but you need more than that. So if you know you want to have your own business at any point, it might be possible, then try to find somebody who does that, who either has their own business or does the exact thing that you want to do, and shadow them. Like literally be glued to their hip, do whatever they tell you to do, ask 50 million questions and learn from them, and do that now. Like if some of y'all have when y'all have breaks from school, when you have summer vacation and all that kind of stuff, what do you do with your time? Are you being the person who might get picked on, but you go to the library and you bring some books at home, and then instead of being, on the internet or whatever at night being silly with your friends, maybe you just sneak and read some books to learn something, during the day, even if you have to get on the bus or whatever to go work with somebody, go just volunteer your time and learn from them. Because if they see that you're dedicated, then they will invest in you. And by you doing all of that, you'll get the skills that you need to be an entrepreneur. So if I could have known anything when I was your age, I wish I would have known that there's two different worlds in this world we call, planet Earth. Is that there's a world of people being employees, and it's really good. It's really, right now it's a little bit challenging to find a job, but when you find a job, if you're good at it, then they'll keep you there. But at the end of the day, you have to consistently convince someone else of your worth. And if you want to go beyond that, then you're going to need some practice and some skills. You can't just wake up and be, famous. Like even to be Instagram famous, it takes work. Like these people post on Instagram all the time. They create visuals on different apps on their phones and on their computers all the time. They don't just wake up looking pretty. Even the girls who are Instagram famous, they put on hours worth of makeup. Just a regular day takes like 30 minutes for a regular woman. So these chicks, they put on their weaves, they put on their makeup, they put on these fancy clothes that they have to go out and buy. So they're working and they're making money. So it's not that they just wake up one day and they're like, oh, I'm so-and-so on Instagram, I have so many followers, and then I can be in this magazine. Even being in that magazine is work. They show up at like 7 a.m. and they sit there and they do all these different body movements and poses and everything for like 5 or 6 hours before they make any money. And they don't have a pension, they don't have a 401k, they don't have health insurance and all that kind of stuff. So there's a trade-off. So it's really important for you guys to start to think about where you want to end up. And if there's any chance that you might want to be an entrepreneur, then move out and try and make any one connection. Just be up under someone and say, I just want to help you so that I can learn. Help you do whatever you need to do. See how early they wake up, see how late they work, and all of that kind of stuff, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to do something different and do something that you have control over. It's great to be able to work a job for a very long time, but I think right now in society, a lot of people are really sad and frustrated because this company lays off people and that company lays off people, and they don't really have that much control. And that's just the reality of the world that we live in. If you work for a company and the company is losing money, they can't continue to pay people because that means it's going to continue to lose money. So you have to be prepared for the fact that you may not always have that job and you may have to find another one. Or before you even get into that situation, you create your own lane. And the only kinds of jobs that really don't go away are teachers, doctors, nurses, firemen, police officers, for the most part, you can always have a job in those industries. You might have to move to another city or state, maybe if there's like a budget issue. But if you become one of those 5 things, you can probably always have a job. But if you want to do anything else, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a doctor outside of like a public hospital, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be, I don't know, you want to work, you want to be an executive at a company, you want to be an accountant, you want to be a computer programmer, all of that is contingent on somebody else hiring you. It's connected to some other company having enough money to pay you. And if you want to do something bigger than that, which I think all of you are capable of doing something bigger than that, then you have to be able to go out on your own. So I could sit here and ramble a whole lot. So I just want you guys, if you can, to like unmute your mics. And if you guys have any specific questions for me, like just go ahead. And I guess if I see your mic is unmuted, then I'll assume that you have a question. And then I'll like call on you or whatever if more than one person has their mic unmuted. So I wanted to just before, let's see, someone's unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and start the questions. They're teaming with questions, Nia. They're ready.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, good. Let me just blow my nose for one quick second. I'm so sorry because my allergies are going crazy. Okay, go for it.
Okay. Hi, I'm Paige.
Hi, Paige.
I have a question. Was it tough to do what you do? Like the school and everything?
Yes, I'm not going to even lie to you. It's absolutely very, 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 very tough. But the only thing that outweighs how difficult it was is how good it feels to have control of my time, control of what I do, what I don't do, control of who I work with, control of when I work, control of where I work, control of how I work. Like when I was working as a lawyer, I had to get up. I had to go to a certain place. When I was there for 4.5 years, they changed offices 3 times. I had to deal with that. For me, it didn't affect me that badly, but some of the people that I work with, their commute ended up going from 30 minutes in their car to 50 minutes in their car. They had to do it because that was the job they had. They needed it. I had to be there at a certain time. If they needed me to stay late, I pretty much had to stay late unless I had some serious family emergency. I had to do it. So it was challenging. It definitely was challenging. But nothing in this world that is worth anything comes easy. Like nothing. Like nothing. Like nothing at all. I'm telling you. Anything that is worth your happiness, that will bring you happiness, that will bring you joy, is going to be a challenge. But I say all that to say, I did make sure that I always had at least 1 or 2 people like in my corner. My mother, I wouldn't even really talk to her that much, but if ever I called her in tears being like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm so annoyed with doing all this education, she'd be like, just keep on pushing, you will get there, it'll be okay. And if I couldn't get support or motivation from my mom or a close friend, I would go to the internet. I would be like, okay, what does Oprah tell herself when she gets down? What does I don't know, whatever famous person of the moment, like how does, how they say Beyonce only has 24 hours in a day too, and she makes all of this magic happen. So what can I do with my 24 hours, or what can I tell myself to stay motivated? And even now that I work from home in the morning, I try to start my day off with meditation, with prayer, with listening to positive words from whether it's a pastor of the day or if it's just music. Like I'll just like rock out to like something that is just upbeat, that makes me happy, that makes me smile, to get my mind where I need to be. Because yes, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult. Anybody who tells you that it's easy, they ain't really doing that much. Like some things take talent, and some people's talent come easy. But even the people with talent work hard. Like Steph Curry, I think I read somewhere that before he leaves the gym, he makes 100 free throw shots or makes 100 3-pointers. Like he's amazing already, but even after he puts in the practice with everybody else, he still has to make so many free throws, whatever, before he leaves the gym. So he's working hard, even though he has a certain level of talent. The same thing for Michael Jordan, the same thing for Tiger Woods, the same thing for Beyonce. I've read articles where her dancers say she's already there 2 hours before them and she stays 3 hours after them. So all these people that you see succeeding, they're not just waking up, chilling, and doing it. They are burning the midnight oil. They are working all the time. And then they've made enough money so that they can get a good makeup job and they don't look crazy and they look like they're all refreshed and everything. But it is difficult. But anybody who you've seen out there, I mean, I don't know, like, who's your favorite person, Paige? Like, who's somebody you would want to, I don't know, look at and you like their career?
Probably like Pamela Mann or something.
Okay, all right, exactly. Pamela Mann is not just waking up and then having a opportunity to sing anywhere and everywhere. Pamela Mann, I don't know because of y'all's ages, but I guess you guys are what, 12, 13, 14, right, Anika?
Yes.
Okay, so 12 years ago, Pamela Mann made one connection. Well, maybe two connections. Tyler Perry and Kirk Franklin. She was doing what she needed to do to sing, to get in front of them when they came to wherever town she's from or whatever, so that they could see her talent. You didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm a singer, and here's, I know Kirk Franklin, I know Tyler Perry. No, she was already singing in church, already trying to have her own record deal, and then she met some of these people. And then when she met Kirk Franklin, she was singing with the Kirk Franklin and the family. That's a whole ensemble. She wasn't by herself. So she had to put in 5+, 10+ years singing with other people behind somebody else before she could get her own record deal. So I say that to say, like, all the people that you see now that are big and famous, they have all put in 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how old they are, of work before you even see them. So yes, it is challenging. Yes, it is difficult, but you have to push through, because for me, you have to figure out what you want more. I determined that I wanted control of my time, control of my money, control of my energy more than I wanted the paycheck that somebody else said that I should have. I wanted to get my own money, my own way.
Okay, Neil, we have several other questions, and I think the kids leave in about 12 minutes. So I'm going to try to let the students go ahead.
I'll keep it shorter and sweeter.
What'd you say?
I'll keep it shorter and sweeter.
All right. Go ahead, Mark.
What did you go through for your business degree?
So my business degree is from Pepperdine University. It's a school in Malibu, California, which is right outside of LA. It was beautiful. It's a very, very lovely place to go, but very expensive at the same time. So if I had to do it all over again, I would probably go to a school that was just as equally as good, but a lot less expensive. But all I did was I went online. I looked for schools that were that had an international MBA program, because I wanted to be able to travel the world for part of my degree. And so they had an international MBA program. All I did was I applied. I took the GMAT, which is the test you have to take before you can apply for a business school. I took it a couple of times because my scores weren't that great. My SAT scores weren't that great either. Like, it was like, I did decent, but I did the best that I could. I took the GMAT course test, and then I was like, well, I didn't do that great. Let me take this course. And then I tried to take the test again, and I actually didn't do that much better. But I made sure that my essays were really good. I mean, like, perfection. Like, I would read it, reread it, have somebody else read it, and then read it myself, and I would read it backwards, because you catch things when you read, like, backwards in sentence. Like, so I would take the last sentence, then the sentence before that, the sentence before that, and I made sure that my essays were perfect, because that was the only thing that I had. I knew my scores weren't that great, but I knew I had great recommendations because I was always the active and engaged and a consistent student. So I had great recommendations, great essays, and moderate test scores. And at the end of the day, because I was a Black woman and they didn't have any other Black women that were half as decent as I was, I got in the program. So all of you guys that are Black and brown babies, like, make sure you do the best that you can do, because we are still underrepresented, and you never know what that will give you an opportunity to have. So and then from there on, Brian, I just followed the curriculum that they said. I did everything they said I had to do, and that was that.
What are those letters in the background?
Say that again, Jose.
What are those letters in the background?
Oh, right. So the letters in the background. This is. I think you all should try and get a whiteboard from somewhere. This is where I plan out everything that I do, and then if I need it, I take a picture and then I erase it and I continue to plan. But this is a quote from Steve Jobs. It says, "Because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do." So I wanted to give you the direct quote, but what I really digest it as is the people who think they are crazy enough, the people who think they can change the world are the ones that everybody says they're crazy. So if you want to do something and you have somebody in your life that's like, oh, that's ridiculous, don't do that, that's crazy, like why would you be able to do that? Then keep on doing it. Because the only people in this world who've made a change are people who somebody said they were crazy to think that they can, including Steve Jobs. I mean, the stuff that he created, the iPod, iPad, and all that kind of stuff, it never existed. So people said that he was crazy to even give that a try. So I just wanted to share that quote with you guys. So thank you so much, Jose, for reminding me.
What about the EBSI on the back?
The EBSI? Oh, the EBSI in the back. So that is a printout from a really, really, really awesome game that my friends and I play. And it's not really a game, it's a life game, but it's called Cash Flow. And the game is about life. And the EBSI are the quadrants of where people can be financially in this world. The E is for employee. That means that your money comes because somebody else says you should have it. The S is for self-employed, which means you're just an employee by yourself. That means that when other people pay you, that's when you eat. The B is for business. That means you're a business owner. You have people that work for you. You have people whose livelihood depend on the systems that you create. And I is for investor. That's where your money works for you. You don't have to get out of the bed, but you get checks in the mail. You get checks and, automatically deposited into your account. So the book, this game, Cash Flow, was created by the author of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I think that you can probably listen to the audiobook of Rich Dad, Poor Dad on YouTube. I highly recommend it because financial knowledge is really, really important, especially for people who, if any of you guys are like me, like my parents didn't have good financial skills. They didn't know that much about credit. They didn't know that much about loans. They didn't know that much about financial management. So I read this book and I play this game with my friends, like adult friends, like 30 and 40-year-olds, not even like, it's not like Monopoly. It's like a serious game. And I recommend all of you guys either find the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but also try and play the game, Cash Flow. Is that good, Jose?
Yes.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Yes, my name is Merly. I wanted to ask, while you're working, have you ever thought about getting another job?
I have not thought about getting another job. I had a considerable amount of savings that I set aside, and then also I unfortunately lost my dad almost 3 years ago, and he left money for me. So that kind of like filled in the gaps until I got this big contract that I just got. But some of my friends, they do other things while they're trying to build their businesses. At the end of the day, you have to make money some kind of way. So, if you want, I mostly recommend that everybody work a job while they transition into being an entrepreneur. If they didn't decide that they were going to be an entrepreneur at the age that you guys are. So if you decide you're going to be an entrepreneur, you can get started right now. There are people out there. I saw some story the other day of a 16-year-old who's a millionaire because of the babysitting app that she created. Like, because her mother couldn't find a babysitter the way that she wanted it, and the daughter figured it out. So you don't necessarily need to wait until you're an adult to be able to accomplish something or whatever. But if you find yourself as an adult and you don't like your job and you want to do something on your own, yes, you have to take care of yourself. So, you know, you're going to need some sort of a job. But I am not in that position, and I, by the grace of God, got a very, very, very large contract that I'm working with for the next 3 years. So I don't really have to worry about that right now. But that's all because of the hard work that I put in, you know, since 2013. So I haven't really thought about that, Merle, but I know people who do. But if you are focused and dedicated and you have proper planning and you have good financial management, like good credit and no debt and stuff like that, then you may not have to, like, and a savings, then you may be able to make some moves without going to work every single day. Does that sound good? Okay, hey Paige, go ahead.
What was your favorite subject now and when you were in school?
My favorite subject in school was anything that had to do with reading or writing. So I was that kid that loved English literature, and loved like all kinds of literature. I loved the Spanish literature that we read in college, and now it's anything dealing with writing and literature still. That's the reason why it was easy for me to become a lawyer, because they write a lot, their words matter, they choose one synonym over the other because of the situational differences of the words and nuances and stuff like that. So me liking to read and write, it fell hand in hand with me becoming a lawyer because they are really, really good with their words. So I would say reading and writing for me.
Okay, Nia, I'm here as Maria for a minute. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the call. It's just about time for the students to leave.
Okay.
There were some other students that had questions, so they're just going to give them to me and I'll email them to you. And if you're just ready, we really appreciate it.
Yes, totally. Okay. And like, if you guys have any questions, even weeks from now, like, just ask and you can email me. It's fine.
Okay, thank you very much. So y'all can wave or take your mics off mute for a moment to say thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck, guys. Work hard and make yourself happy along the way.
Okay.